I sold all my XCN for this crypto, and here is why. This is NC Hammer Crypto. My name's Neil. We keep technical analysis short and sweet, and I just said that so you guys will actually watch the video because everybody seems to watch XCN over the other important videos as well. But I'm still holding on to my XCN. I'm not worried about it. So what we're looking at with Bitcoin is we have a potential double top here. As we saw back here, we had the double top. And then we had that push down towards this black trend line, push up, down towards the black trend line, push up. We may get a push down towards this black trend line. There is a possibility to come down right around this area before getting some major support and then pushing back up, doing a liquidity sweep and taking out everybody's potential profits. So just keep that in mind. We may see a little bit of a pullback, but nothing to really worry about. I'm always going to recommend Tornado Cash. Nobody's promoting me to, promote Tornado Cash. It just looks extremely healthy. I've seen it in the past. Actually, right whenever it first came out, way up here. Obviously, I'm not buying at $450. I remember seeing it down here at around 34, and then a push up to nearly 100. And we broke this downward trend line, which is pretty important to be breaking. And then we had this long consolidation period before a major pump up and breaking the downward trend line again. So long consolidation period, except instead of being in the red underneath the 200 EMA, we are now above the 200 EMA and holding some pretty nice support off of that 200 EMA. It's $11.32 for the price, and it's not a bad entry point still. Anywhere within this area before it takes off is a good bet. Compound is something I'm actually bringing up in this video, and it is also looking very nice and healthy. We pushed up over this black downward trend line, had that major pump, got rejected and went underneath the 200 EMA, pump again, rejected, pump again, and now we want to kind of see this 200 EMA as support, kind of more of a healthy market. We see volume is picking up. It is not in this chart because TradingView does not pull it up correctly for some reason, but there is the RSI pulling back in, the CM Guppy, just for my visual stimulation. So we tried getting above this previous high and closing, and it did not work out the way that we wanted, and we are near that 200 EMA yet again. Is it possible we'll be pulling back towards this low? Yes, that is still a possibility. I'm not, freaking out in crypto as it's very volatile. That's where a lot of people make money. This is on the daily, so whenever you're looking at this in the 4 hour, you get a little bit better visualization. We had pasted this kind of triangle here, and it broke out to the downside. So then it had a major sell-off. I guess not major, but it had a sell-off. And we are getting a little bit of consolidation. However, the CM Guppy is pretty strong. And we are starting to form a W pattern here in the RSI on the 4 hour. We may end up pushing up over this yellow. However, keep in mind the Fibonacci retracement for this, more or less, 618 is right here, right above the 200 EMA, right at $49. So if you are down $2, selling off is probably not the best idea. However, we had a pretty nice entry, I believe, right whenever we crossed this 200 EMA at 47, and it's still in profit. So just keep compound in mind. It will go crazy very quickly, as we have seen in the past. We tested the 200 EMA and immediately shot up from $45 up to $61 before testing this fair value gap and then shooting up to 73 and then up to 140. So keeping that in mind, compound is definitely something that I'm stacking a bigger bag of. QNT. I know Aaron's kind of freaking out on QNT, but we can see that we got this black trend line as our support. We are testing right here. Usually 3 touches to the support line. If it breaks, we can expect a further retracement. However, right now we have that 200 EMA that is pretty strong support, and we can expect, if Bitcoin pulls back, the furthest that QNT might pull back is potentially $89. However, it's going to have some strong support right in this area around $98. Still definitely a very long-term play or swing trade, but I keep stacking bags of QNT, XRP, all the good stuff that actually has some strong utility behind it. So not a whole bunch to say on QNT. There may be a pullback depending on what Bitcoin is doing, but it's temporary. It's nothing permanent. This thing is not going to zero. You may get a $20 reduction, better entry for your price if you want to stack some more, and kind of dollar cost average if you're down from the 120s. But for the most part, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's going to work itself out. We're going to do XRP and XLM on a different one to try and separate the technical analysis for views on YouTube. It's pretty crazy. I actually had multiple comments that weren't from robots, which is cool to see. You guys are paying attention. Same thing like we were talking about with Bitcoin, potential double top forming right here. We could see a further reduction in price for BNT, but BNT, we are currently up pretty heavily from our entry down here at 36 if you're in the trading channel. And we may get that pullback. So Fibonacci just from here, the 618 is right here on this upward trend line, which is around 73 cents. However, if we fib this from a different level, let's say we fib from this bottom to the top, 618.65 potential, which is real close to that 200 EMA, which would actually be more ideal to see that BNT retraces back towards that 200 EMA, and then the 200 EMA just slaps it and has it take off from that point. We filled out perfectly the inverse head and shoulders with these green triangles as we see, and we're pretty much staying within that pattern. As I had explained in the previous videos, about 2 videos ago, we were going to potentially have that push up to the dotted red line, the fair value gap, and pretty much all we need to do is close above this high, and then the next stop is trying to close above this high, which is around 95 cents. So not too far away from that, and not too far away from 65 cents. But depending on what Bitcoin does, we could see a fake out. There is a lot of bullish momentum. The U.S. government's accepting cryptocurrencies and creating a savings holding for a bunch of cryptos. More people are learning about it, like people on this channel as well. It is one of the craziest markets, and a lot of people lose money because they are not prepared for those kind of pullbacks. Even stock investors aren't prepared for a 20% pullback in one day. As a crypto investor, you can see a 20% pullback in a day and then another 125% gain the next. So do not worry about this one either. Definitely wait to see a better entry if you did not enter at a lower point. Kind of test the waters, see if we may test off around the 72 or even as low as 65 for a quick pullback on BNT. DNT, not much to say besides the fact that it is consolidating, and we are trying to hold support above this black trend line right here. If we can hold that, we can expect a little bit more consolidation and trying to ease up over that 200 EMA before eventually taking off. So BNT, keep an eye out on that one. That one moves very quick, as we've seen in the past. Some exponential gains within a few days. Once we get over that 200 EMA, we see we had that pop, consolidation a little bit further, and then a major retracement in one day, dropping from, what is that, roughly more or less 2.5 cents, 21% in one day, and then immediately shot right back up, and then within the week up 26% and then beyond. So just keep all of that in mind. DNT is in consolidation, but we broke over this black downward trend line, which is very important, as we've seen in some of the other cryptocurrencies. And lastly, for this video, GRT, inverse head and shoulders is what I had played out. However, we are probably potentially touching this upward black trend line once yet again. The 618 Fibonacci retracement from the bottom to the top. Right here, 618 is right at that black trend line, which is 0.089 cents. And that is probably a pretty good entry for GRT, as it'll be testing this 200 EMA. The further downside is 0.076, but the potential upside is nearly 19 cents. Really, we just want to kind of creep this line over the 200 EMA and above this 0.10, 10 cents more or less. Once we get over that, try and push it up towards this black downward trend line. But when this line breaks, it's going to be pretty strong pushing to the upside. So that's kind of it for this video. I will do all the X's on another video. Description has reference links below. If you're trying to trade Tornado Cash, there's a MEXC reference link. There's Coinbase. Grass is doing a free airdrop if you want free money. That is happening this month for Grass token. Good luck, have fun with it, and I will see you on the next one.